The Vampire Lestat ends its first season with one of the biggest cliffhangers in the entire Anne Rice universe. Episode 7 is not just about whether Lestat survives after being beheaded. It is also about confronting his entire life, accepting his failures, and unknowingly triggering an apocalypse that could reshape the vampire world forever. The finale begins immediately after the dramatic events of the previous episode. Lestat and Louis have both been beheaded. Although they are technically immortal, separating a vampire's head from its body still creates enormous danger. This time Armand and Daniel each choose very different ways of dealing with the aftermath. Armand takes Louis away and imprisons him inside an abandoned butcher shop. Rather than simply punishing him physically, Armand wants something much deeper. He wants Louis to admit that he hurt him. To force Louis into submission, Armand threatens someone who looks exactly like Claudia. Viewers eventually discover that this is not really Claudia returning from the dead. Instead, the lookalike has been manipulated by Armand as part of his psychological game. It is another reminder of just how controlling and emotionally dangerous Armand can be. Meanwhile, Daniel Malloy walks away carrying Lestat's severed head inside an ordinary bowling bag. The image perfectly captures the strange mix of horror and dark humor that has always defined Anne Rice's vampire universe. However, while Lestat's body lies separated from his head, something extraordinary begins happening inside his mind. Rather than simply falling unconscious, Lestat experiences what feels like one final gathering with the people who shaped his entire existence. He finds himself surrounded by Magnus, the vampire who created him. His mother Gabrielle also appears. Many of the vampires he created over the centuries join them as well, including Louis. The only major absence is Claudia. Her emotional farewell already happened during the previous episode, making it clear that her story has finally reached its conclusion. Throughout this strange gathering, Lestat is forced to relive nearly every important chapter of his life. His triumphs, his mistakes, his relationships, his betrayals, his endless search for love. Every memory points toward one painful conclusion. Lestat believes he has failed everyone he has ever cared about. This revelation also explains why the recordings that guided the entire season are called the failures. To Lestat, those recordings are not simply memories. They're his confession. He believes his life has been defined more by regret than success. But as the vision continues, something changes inside him. Instead of accepting failure as his final identity, Lestat reaches a different conclusion. He realizes that despite every mistake he has made, he still wants to live. He still wants to perform. He still wants to stand before the world exactly as he always has. Not as a victim. Not as a monster hiding in darkness. But as an entertainer. As someone who refuses to disappear quietly. That decision becomes the emotional turning point of the finale. Unfortunately, Lestat has another problem. The supernatural blood flowing through him can only preserve his severed head for a limited amount of time. Even Akasha's incredibly powerful blood cannot keep him alive forever if his body and head remain separated. The countdown toward his permanent death has already begun. Just when hope seems lost, unexpected help arrives. The Telemasca once again steps into the story through Raglan James. Rather than allowing Lestat to die, the mysterious organization convinces Daniel Malloy and Lestat's guitarist Alex to surrender the severed head. The Telemasca clearly understands that Lestat still has an important role to play in events that are much bigger than any individual vampire. Lestat finally awakens inside his tour bus after being reunited with his body. His mother immediately informs him that thousands of fans are already waiting for his concert. She insists there is no time to recover. He must go directly onto the stage. Surprisingly, performing is the last thing on Lestat's mind. After everything he has experienced, there is only one person he wants to see. Louis. The emotional reunion between the two vampires becomes one of the strongest moments of the finale. Both of them now carry visible scars around their necks where they were stitched back together after being beheaded. The scars serve as a physical reminder of everything they have survived together. Many viewers expected the finale to end with Lestat's long-awaited concert. Instead, the series makes a surprising decision. The performance itself is never shown. Instead, the story jumps forward as Lestat finishes narrating his recordings. He explains that the concert became a historic event unlike anything the vampire world had ever experienced. His music and public appearance triggered what became known as the Great Conversion. For the first time, vampires across the world were drawn into a completely new era. But the concert also had consequences that nobody could have imagined. The enormous supernatural energy awakened someone who had remained asleep for centuries. Akasha, the ancient queen of the vampires. Her awakening immediately transforms the story from a personal drama into a global catastrophe. The final images are especially haunting. When Lestat steps outside onto a balcony, the city stretching before him is almost completely destroyed. Montreal has become a wasteland. Civilization appears to have collapsed. The devastation suggests that Akasha's return has unleashed an apocalypse unlike anything the modern world has ever experienced. The finale never fully explains everything that happened. Instead, it leaves viewers with terrifying questions. How much destruction has Akasha caused? How many vampires survived? Can anyone stop the Queen of the Damned now that she has awakened? One important question many viewers have is whether Lestat actually dies in this episode. The answer is no. Despite being beheaded and coming dangerously close to permanent death, Lestat survives thanks to the intervention of the Talamasca and the extraordinary power flowing through his blood. His journey is far from over. In many ways, it is only just beginning. The ending also clearly points toward the future of the franchise. Although AMC has not officially confirmed another season, the finale strongly sets up the next major chapter from and Rice's novels. The events following Lestat's concert closely resemble the beginning of The Queen of the Damned, where Akasha awakens and begins carrying out her own terrifying vision for the future of humanity and vampires alike. If the story continues, viewers can expect Akasha to become the central antagonist while Lestat struggles with the consequences of accidentally awakening the oldest and most powerful vampire in existence. Overall, Episode 7 delivers a satisfying emotional conclusion to Lestat's personal journey while opening the door to a much larger supernatural conflict. The season begins as the story of one vampire trying to understand his past, but it ends with the fate of the entire world hanging in the balance. Lestat may have accepted his failures, but his greatest challenge is only just beginning as the Queen of the Damned rises to reclaim her throne.